Cannabis stocks have been on a tear in recent months, rallying as industry-friendly headlines continue to roll out of Washington. The latest came Sunday when President Trump took to Truth Social to tout the benefits of CBD for seniors. And back in August, the Wall Street Journal reporting he was considering reclassifying marijuana as a Schedule III drug. Joining me now with his playbook for investing in cannabis stocks, Dan Ahrens, portfolio manager of the AdvisorShares Pure U.S. Cannabis ETF. Dan, thanks for being here. We're seeing cannabis stocks double over the past 3 months, all on this hope of federal reform. But we've heard this story before, right? A lot of talk, not necessarily a lot of follow through. So what makes it different this time?
Sure. A lot of cannabis investors have had a hard time the last 5 years. When Biden was first getting elected, cannabis stocks went up a lot because Democratic politicians had promised a lot of cannabis reform, much like we had seen in Canada a few years earlier, and cannabis stocks went up an awful lot. Now it's been a long, painful wait. But a lot of good messaging coming out of the Trump White House and Trump himself. We're hearing a lot of good things that they are finally going to follow through with a rescheduling. Right now, cannabis is called a Schedule I drug in the United States on the DEA list, and they're talking about officially rescheduling it to Schedule III, and that would be a move between the HHS and the DEA. But we might get a executive order from Trump asking for it. Now, that doesn't put everything in place. We need Congress and we need the DOJ, but Trump can ask for it via a executive order. A lot of messaging that it seems like they can't really turn back on now, but many investors are still cautious after they have been burned so many times in the last 4 years with politicians' rather empty promises.
Yeah, and I remember 2018, 2019 being at Yahoo Finance, and that's all we talked about was cannabis stocks.
Sure.
And then we saw this steady years-long decline. I mean, you attribute it a lot to the lack of reform. How much do these names rely on that? I mean, are there other reasons to be invested in cannabis stocks?
Well, there's a big disconnect in the United States over investing in cannabis stocks. And even at the start of the episode here, Allie, Yahoo Finance put up the tickers and the symbols for Aurora and Tilray and Canopy. And those are all Canadian companies. They cannot have any THC cannabis business on the south side of the border. They have to keep that business in Canada, yet they are able to list on major exchanges in the United States like the NASDAQ or the NYSE. So our fund, ticker symbol MSOS, specializes in U.S. multi-state operators. Now, these companies are doing billions of business in the United States in states where they have medical cannabis dispensaries, or almost half the states in the United States now have adult use. But they're operating contrary to federal law officially. They have state approvals, and they are unable to list on the major exchanges in the United States. They are unable to do banking or custody with the major wirehouses and federal banks. They trade OTC in the United States. Now, our fund is the largest cannabis fund in the world, and it's a vehicle that's listed on the New York Stock Exchange. It is a place where people can get all those U.S. companies in one trade, and it's available through an awful lot of brokerages, but still not all because of this crazy U.S. federal law disconnect that we need to get this rescheduling. And our opinion is that rescheduling will then begin a domino effect where these companies could be custodied at banks, could have a safe banking bill, hopefully a pass through Congress, and be able to list on major exchanges, custody, and that opens them up to a great deal more institutional investment. we have the start of a movement to regain some of the losses of the last 5 years over the last few months, just on rumor and conjecture and messaging. We're waiting on an official announcement out of the White House anytime now.
And Dan, we only have about a minute here, but walk us through some of your top picks, the ones that are best positioned if we do see reform come through.
Certainly. Our top holding is Curaleaf, and that is a company that operates in a number of states, also in Europe, also has some hemp beverages. Another one is Trulieve right behind that. Real dominant force in the medical market in Florida, which is a huge market, also operates in a number of other states. A couple others in our top 5 holdings are Cresco Labs, another multi-state operator, and Verano, yet another multi-state operator. And again, these are quite different and a quite different opportunity than investing in those companies like Tilray, Canopy, and Aurora, and so on in Canada.
All right, those U.S. multi-state operators, that's what's on your radar. Dan, thank you so much. Hopefully we'll be talking a lot more about cannabis stocks with this recent rise. Appreciate it.